show off. Did this build for my buddy Derek. The way it's come together, I think is pretty awesome. So, buddy of mine who makes dials made me some dials a while back, and they are sandwich dials. Well, this was originally a black dial, and there was some markings on it that even with alcohol wipes, it wasn't really coming off. So I thought, I'll just sand it, put a brush stroke in it. Well, apparently you can't just sand it. It will turn the dial white, which ended up being freaking awesome. So sanded it down, ended up showing it to Derek, and he's like, yeah, that's the one that I want. So he wanted a lumed insert style. All right, I'm getting messages already. Lumed insert style on here. And then something to kind of make that seconds hand or that minute hand stick out just a bit. So what we ended up doing, and he wanted crown guards. So I had a 110 case coming in. Out of all the watches that I had come in for donors in the last month, 2 have been this. And the other one's black Cerakoted for a customer's build. So the way this worked, that one came in, did a shark tooth bezel on it, because with these shark tooths, they are much tighter. So he is going to have to actually want to turn this. So he referenced swimming with it. So use the case. I already had the glass pressed in there with the tension ring going around there for that 200 meter rating. And then just to make sure there was no issues, even though exhibition casebacks say that they're 200 meter rated, I went with a solid and just did an anchor on there. Man, I'm getting alarms and everything on my phone. So anchor style on the back, tighten it down real tight, anchor on the crown. So we've got that white dial. It had a red star. We repainted it in black. We did a custom painted handset. We did black, orange, black, and lumed it. And then you've got an engineered SS band. We did a little amphibia here across the clasp. And then inside there, he's got a stainless steel movement holder, and then one of my engraved BVW rotors. You just can't really see it, but it's inside there. And then for a lume reference, of course, my massive flashlight that I keep. Oh, it's all the way over here. I'm just going to have to start buying 3 of everything. Because you think you have everything ready to do a video, and you never do. And it's always this light. So, granted, it'll be nice and vibrant and bright because of this light. So we've got blue lumed insert, ceramic insert, which will fingerprint easy, just like this polished case. We did green lume on the hands, and the lume that we use will react to heat, light, and UV light. And then the guy who did the dial did the blue lume in the background. So on that sandwich wheel that's under there. So we've got blue, and then the hands are in green. And then this actually, we're in the daytime right now, but this still works nicely. And if you just cut that light out on there. So that is his build. As I showed you, that bezel will turn left, that bezel will turn right. It's on there super tight because you don't want it being loose if you're at any point deciding you're going to dive with it at all, and you are counting down for air on there. You don't want this thing to be like too loose, right? Because then you're like, I have more time than I have, and I don't need that on me. So I put this on there. It's tight as shit. You'll find out. And then automatic mechanical. So you can wind it if you like. You can put it in a watch winder, or you can just wear it to keep time because you have your automatic rotor back there. But if it's dead or you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit, especially if you're actually trying to keep time. Because if you're not moving around enough, you might not be moving enough to keep time. So how you do that is you back the crown off the threads. So you hear it clicking. At that point, you can wind, and a wind is a turn that way. So if you wind this for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, you'll be fine. And I just go back and forth. Winding it towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to just go back and forth winding. You can keep your finger spacing out from the case decently. And then when you're good with that, you just pull it to the one and only click, and you can now set your time. Now, this does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going. And you also notice you've got a wobble crown that deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, it is deflecting that, not putting a bend into anything. So if you just pull it straight, you don't even really feel that. It's just, you can tell that it's there. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 10:22 a.m.
10. Okay, Google, I don't need any information. Whenever you're good. Okay, Google, stop talking. Push this back over, and then you can thread it right back down. And that is the build. So stop talking. Also meant don't play my music anymore, so that's cool. Okay, Google, play Phantom's Radio. So that is the build as a whole. As with every build, I also include matching beads. And this is going to go in one of my fancy special edition white boxes. And then as I was talking to him, I looked around and I actually found a silver Vostok Amphibia silicone. So I threw on one of my buckles on here, just a little gift to him. I don't know that you can really find these anymore. I don't know if my buddy Yuri was the one that sold these, or if these actually came from the Vostok manufacturing, but they do say made in Russia on the inside of one of these. I have it packaged, but on one of these it's stamped on the back. So I threw that in there, and then I threw in an extra case back for him, since he might dive with it. Threw in a scuba dude with an additional gasket and ring. And Derek, if you're ever swapping that out, this gasket is just for compression. This doesn't get twisted on, so like on normal watches, you have to replace the gaskets because you're stretching them as you're tightening them. You know, like if you're like, think of it like when you're tightening like an oil filter, how you put that on there and it kind of like will stretch it. And there's just a little tab at the top, little tab at the bottom. This is going to a lip down there, and then this goes down, and then this twists on, and it compresses this against the watch, so nothing gets twisted and stretched out. I just threw in an extra one just because gaskets every 10 years. If you want, you can throw a little bit of silicone goop on it before you put it on there, but just in case you ever decide at some point you want to do that, you'd have it in your box and you've got an extra gasket in there. So that's your build, man. Also, you're going to have some watch cleaner, good on all glass and metal parts, so your watch as a whole. You're going to have some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon. It's like a poly watch for your acrylic glass that you could scratch, but if you do, put a tiny bit on it, buff it out with your included microfiber, and you will be in the clear, sir. So that's your build, and I appreciate you a ton, man, and let me know how it goes. Just make sure your crown's on tight. I put your case back on like stupid tight, and your glass was already in. I used that stock glass that was already pressed with that tension ring in there. So all in all, you should be good. Yeah, all in all, you should be good, man. Oh, and I threw in some spring bar links on this. I didn't know what size to put in there, so you might have a couple different sizes in there. Yeah, there's a thicker one. So if you can get the thicker ones to work, obviously that's better for you. But if there's a clearance issue, then you might have to go with one of the thinner ones. But I've never put one of these on, and I didn't try. So, but yeah, buddy. And then I'm going to throw in a couple things for the kiddo. So I appreciate you a ton, buddy. Thank you for the repeat business. Hopefully this makes it to you in time for Christmas. We're, a week out? And I'm going to do 2-3 day priority, but you know how that goes. So, yeah, I appreciate you a ton. And if you're watching this, thank you for hanging out with me this long. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.